A 45-year-old man is behind bars after a police pursuit through the southeastern suburbs.
Man makes a run for freedom down a suburban Camillo laneway.
A haul of guns, ammunition and drugs has been seized by police in a raid on an Armadale home.
This is the worst suburb in Perth based on crime.
Good Samaritans have helped a 47-year-old woman who was allegedly raped by a teenager while walking in Armadale.
In Armadale, the trio allegedly drove a stolen motorbike through a park and robbed a woman at knife point.
What's up, mateys? We are back again for another little walk around here in Armos, mate. Armadale, WA. Never been here before, to be honest with you, so this is a bit more of a genuine reaction / walk around. But I'm just gonna chill here. The reason we're here today is because we did Applecross last week, and I wanted to switch it up a bit and do the other sort of side of the monetary spectrum, right? So Armadale's a bit more sketchy. I think this is actually one of the worst parts of WA / Perth, statistically. And I did a bit of a little look-see online, and I'll just read you what some people have been saying about Armadale, people that have lived here, or people that have stayed here. So the first person, and this is on Reddit by the way, I think this person was looking to move here and they were asking how Armadale is. Someone said, or the first comment said 100% dodgy. Second comment was parked my car there once, came back and lost a wheel and a back windscreen. That's nice. Never went back. And there was another person that just said thieves, meth heads and hooks. So it seems like a lovely place. And Perth Now, which is like a big Perth media company or publishing thing, said that this is the worst suburb in Perth based on crime. So I think they have like 10 physical or domestic assaults here every week or so. And there's another website called Red Suburbs, which is like a crime map of Australia. Somehow WA is the worst out of the whole of Australia. And I'll throw it up on the screen, but Armadale is clearly worse than most other places around here. I think it's like a 76 out of 100 on the crime scale, whatever you call it. I'm not sure what the technical term is. But according to everyone else, this place is a shithole. And I've heard that over the years of living in Perth, but I've never been here, so we're going to have a bit of a look around and see if it's as bad as everyone reckons. I don't think it is, because look at this, right? The first place where we are, I rocked up, parked, got out of my car, and the first place we have here is like this beautiful park with kids. So far it seems pretty chill. I had to grab a Monster from the shop just to really fit into the vibe here. But we're located on the main street here. I think it's called Jewel Street or Jull Street. I don't really know how you're meant to pronounce it. But what we're going to do is we're going to walk down to the start of the street, because I think there's like a walk trail that you can do yourself, and it's got a bunch of graffiti murals. So we're going to have a look at that, and I'll show you guys along the way and just see what's going on here. I think we'll start in this more built up shoppy sort of food area. We'll walk along this main street, and then I want to go and have a bit of a look at the actual suburbs, because we're based right at the Perth Hills here, right at the bottom of the Perth Hills. So a lot of these houses are like up on the hills, but because of the suburb, they're just not worth much. So we're going to see what it's like. And yeah, I'll show you guys around. There's a lot of, the first thing I saw here actually when I got out of the car, whole pack of like younger dudes and their girlfriends walking past, all wearing the G'd up and Hoodrich, that's the one. The classic brands that you'd see around here, all the ones that are banned from the from the bars and the nightclubs in the city. So we'll have a bit of a look around. Cash converters. But they got KFC here, Hungry Jack's. It's probably just a normal suburb. It's probably nothing crazy at all, but I guess we'll find out. Seems like lots of stuff is closed here with the metal shutters. From all the break-in crime, I guess that's what you need to do, right? Glass is pretty easy to smash. Also doing the full train line freeway stuff through here. All the construction work must sound real good to live next to. Oh, we got Chicken Street here too. All the bus train station stuff up here. Here you go. I think this is technically where it starts. No idea what that is. It looks like some sort of weird, like, abstract spider, but who knows? Anyways, this looks like the main little walk place up this street. There seems to be a lot of Aboriginal stuff here, which I think is a big part of this suburb, based on the research I was doing before I came here. Obviously the whole of Australia and WA is, but there's a lot of talk about that sort of stuff. There you go, Byron Bistro, got all the shutters up, people randomly screaming a lot around here. Lots of like World War II artillery stuff here as well. know if you guys can hear it, but there's just heaps of screaming everywhere. People must be pissed off. It's a Monday. There's more shops up here we'll have a look at. But considering I've never been here, I don't really know where to go. Just walking. Look at this, what a sick little skate park. This has got to be the hangout spot, am I right? I'm not sure what this big caged off thing is, but there's lots of writing on it. I love Armadale Police Force. I love the Chosen Church Forever with an Illuminati sign. It's kind of nice. Freedom. So it doesn't really seem that crazy. I think this place gets a lot worse at night time, or obviously when it's dark. And I know that main street that we walked down before, in between all the shops, I think that's the main sort of area where people tend to punch on. That little spot where there was people screaming and playing music and stuff before. But like, look at it here. It's Maxo fucking relaxo here, mate. This place is beautiful, mate. Who said this was a shithole? One too many bin chickens, but you know, what can you do? Sorry, ducks, mate. Oh, look at this. I'm not trying to scare them, but she's got the whole crew there. Couple of little ducklings. But this place is cool. It's got a very like old school vibe. Lots of flowers everywhere, lots of very old looking brick houses and buildings. I'm not sure exactly what these are, but I hope you can see. Maybe I can zoom in when I'm editing, but if you have a look up here, this is literally the start of the Perth Hills right here. It did take me like 45 minutes to get here, so it is far, or not far, but you know, it's not close to where the main part of Perth is. But it definitely does give like rural WA vibes. Like this could easily be a country town if it was a little more red, and obviously they didn't have big hills surrounding the city or the suburb. But yeah, I feel like when you grow up here in Perth, this is all you ever see is Armadale stuff. No, you're right, I'll go this way. Some guy just spinning laps around the toilet. He probably thinks I'm a junkie. I'm sitting here talking to myself, mate. What was I saying though? I feel like when you grow up in Perth, you always just make jokes about Armadale and stuff. Just because it's, you know, it's renowned for the crime and people getting bashed. Like it's that town here, you know? People aren't out here, you know, punching on in the middle of the street during the day. There's a shitload of security cameras and roller fencing on all of the buildings. So you definitely get a feel of the vibe. But I don't think you're in any danger just walking through here in the middle of the day. Unless you're like being a dickhead. So I think too, when it comes to the crime here, especially the break-ins and the violence, the assaults, I think it is getting slightly better as time goes on. But, you know, there's a reason why it's one of the cheaper places to live. In saying that though, there are a lot of foreign people here as well. You know, like a lot of Asian, Indian, African people here. I assume because it is cheaper to live here. But it's also, you know, it's miles away from the actual city, like it's not close to anything at all. So you wouldn't really live here unless, you know, you're working down this way. And I guess I should have prefaced why we're coming here on a Monday. I wanted to see what it's like when it's a normal work day for people, right? You know? It might have been crazier on a weekend, but I feel like if you come here on a weekday, you get a better idea of how this place actually is and how it functions. Because on that main strip up the town centre, it is really busy with people. So there's obviously less people working here. Unemployment is higher here than the rest of the state, which isn't surprising. But this is also probably the more interesting stuff to see here. I was watching a lot of videos on this place and everyone's out looking at the hiking trails and, you know, they're up in the hills. So they try to give you a really good image of this place. And there are some nice bits to it, like it's not crazy. But there definitely is the more sort of dirty city centre as well. But we're not even going to go up into the hills to look at all the nice stuff really, so I guess this is also a bit of a biased video. What I really should do is ask someone that runs a business here, or a local person here, what it's like, because I'm sure they'd have a much more genuine idea. Definitely giving rural Australian farmhouse vibes here, all of these buildings. The red brick, the little porch, the red tin roof. That's definitely what most of Australia looks like. But they got multiple shopping centre here and stuff. There's a shopping centre there. There's one just up here as well, so there's plenty of shit here. Look how sunken down this fence is. Yeah. It's definitely not super dangerous here. Let's go up here. To be honest though, it's a town in Perth, right? You're not gonna get stabbed here. Perth ain't that bad, mate. But for the south of the river, or Perth in general, this is definitely the worst, probably, spot to be. It's definitely cheap to live here. There's lots of people from other nationalities, lots of foreigners. And, you know, majority of the buildings here and the restaurants and bars, they've all got shutters on the windows and there's smashed stuff around, but I think it's just your typical dodgy suburb, mate. And for today, we're mainly just going to be chilling around the actual town. We're not going up into the hills to look at the hiking trails or, you know, the nicer parts of Armadale. We're just chilling where people live. And we're just seeing what the actual lifestyle is like here, which is why we came here on a Monday, right? We don't want to come here on a weekend when everyone's out and about doing crazy shit. We just want to vibe out the actual lifestyle here, you know? The old abandoned house. But yeah. I guess we should probably walk up past this police station up here because it's probably iconic to the people that live here, right? I probably shouldn't say that. It sounds like I'm just shitting on this place. But we'll have a gaze up here. Because I think this police station is actually relatively new. I think it was built a couple years ago and it looks pretty flash. So we'll have a gaze. Have a look at that though, mate. That's a pretty flash building. Look, I don't know if you can see, you definitely can't. A long way away on the horizon you can see the city. But we're sort of walking up into the hills here. Which is actually kind of cool. The whole town's sort of built on like the side of a hill. Which for Perth is kind of unique because most of Perth doesn't sit on the hill, it sits down in the basin. And this here is a courthouse. See if I can show you. Probably can't see because of the trees, but it says Armadale Courthouse there. Actually, you might be able to see in a second. There you go, mate. Now we're up on one of the main roads here, but I'm going to try and get out of here because it's going to be way too loud for you. I'm just waiting to go back to my car and there's just going to be no tyres on it. Jacked up, slammed on a milk crate with no tyres on it. How funny would that be? Yeah, let's go for a walk down here. Get away from these loud vehicles. Abandoned old church. know what else is very interesting that I learnt from watching other people that do these like walk around style videos? In poorer places such as Brazil, you know how they have the favelas on the side of the mountains? All of the poorer people live up the top, right, where they can see everything, like they have the views, but all the shops, all of the good stuff is down the bottom. So that's why it's cheaper up the top, because one, it's way harder to get up there. People can't afford scooters and cars to get up there, so it's more manual, meaning it's harder to get up there, so it costs less. And they've got the views, but it's just so different to here, right? In Perth or richer countries, all the rich people live on top of the hills, so they can, one, get the scenic views, but two, they can access it easily because they have cars. And it's just like such an opposite thing here compared to poorer places. Like imagine being, oh, I have to live on the top of the mountain. I can see half the country, but I'm living in a tin shack. It's so strange. And I suppose, you know, having the money, you can just live at the bottom of the favelas, near all the shops and the restaurants, and you don't have to go up and down the whole time. Maybe they just don't put a huge value on, you know, having a view when you don't really have much else. I suppose that's half the reason, right? If you can barely afford food and water, then who gives a shit about being able to see the ocean? It's also very dusty around here. I don't want to dust up the white crepes, mate. But there's kind of not even much to look at here. It's a bit anticlimactic. Just big shopping centres and then small brick buildings. That's all that's really here. I hope you can hear me properly too, because it's real windy here today. But I did buy one of those little DJI mics that people walk around with. So I'm going to clip that onto the shirt or a hat. See if that's better. To be honest, I'm trying to find the more sketchy areas, but it just ain't that sketchy. It's a bit of a letdown. Tons of Adelaides though, mate, I can tell you that. So some guy just drove past and yelled out the window and said, "You look small." Some ugly little Jack Doherty looking dude just absolutely toasted me for a 6, mate. Well, to be honest, this place is absolutely fucking boring. So, we're going to drive up to like the top streets and maybe down in the bottom streets and see if we can find anything interesting, because there's stuff here, but there's just nothing going on. People just walking around, that's it. Seems chill. So interestingly, back there was a guy who was going through the bins, but he took the bin from outside of the KFC and he put the entire contents of the bin into a big plastic bag, and he just walked off with it to go search for it somewhere else. Which is like, I've never seen that, right? Most people just dig through the bins and then get kicked off the premise because they're making the place dirty. But this guy took everything and just pieced out with it. I also have absolutely no idea where the fuck I am going. Peep this, boys! We're down in the suburbs, mate, now. And to be honest, this doesn't even look bad down here. There is a lot of houses. Everyone's got four-wheel drives here. There's a lot of houses with just a shitload of junk outside of them though. That guy's got like 4 or 5 big bins of just Emu export cans. For anyone that didn't hear that, this guy on the left side of the street was working on his car, and the lady on the other side of the street walked out to put her bin on the curb, and she said, "Oh, how you doing? How you doing?" He said, "Yeah, good. Yourself?" She said, "Oh, just hanging in there." And then he said, "Oh, that's all you can do." It was a nice comment, I guess, but it's a bit depressing that she's just hanging in there. But it's just a normal suburb. I have not seen one crazy thing since coming out here to Armadale, which is, I guess that's good for the people that live here, but it's not good for making an interesting YouTube video. So, here's my conclusion. It is a pretty average suburb, as we all know, but there'd be worse places to live, and it's just seems like a normal suburb, right? And I think, I don't know if this is rude to say, but the thing pulling it down is the people more than the actual place. Everyone's got mullets everywhere, mullets galore. Eshays, mullets, Commodores. Tell me why there's shopping trolleys everywhere. Like, there's just weird stuff like that, but there's nothing dangerous here at this time of day. Maybe on the weekends on Saturday night in the main town centre, but out here it's just junky house, like houses with junk around them. G'day, old girl. Lots of shopping trolleys everywhere. Older people, bogans. That's it really. It's nothing crazy. It's just nowhere near the city, that's the only issue. But yeah, I guess we're gonna bounce out of here now. That was a bit of a boring one. I thought there'd be more to see here, but it's a very small town centre and all of these other suburbs are just old houses in a suburb. Nothing's really going down. There's just dogs and shopping trolleys everywhere. So we'll be back next week, I guess. don't know what we're going to do yet, but we're going to find something, and hopefully it's more interesting than this was, because that was a bit of a boring walk around Armadale, to be honest with you. So moving on to the next one, and I will see you guys in a week or so. Check out my TikToks as well. I'm cutting up a lot of these clips, so if you just want to see the more interesting parts, I sort of cut those up, edit those, and throw them on TikTok. So that's the more interesting stuff out of these videos. But one other thing that seems to be normal here, and it makes me realize that this suburb isn't that bad, is the fact that there's like 10-year-old kids walking home from school by themselves, just like no adults, like they're young, just walking around by themselves. It's obviously, it can't be that bad, right? Because people aren't too worried about their kids, so that's something. Cheers guys, I will see ya soon. Ciao ciao mate.